I've been loving the increase of classic adventure-style games on the PlayStation 4, and there's another new one called The Inner World now out. But is this a world that's worth visiting? Or is it a tale that should just be forgotten? The Inner World in many ways is a very typical adventure game, controlling your character, interacting with the townspeople and other folk and creatures that you meet along the way, and solving inventory styles of puzzles. The creativity of the world itself, its art style, is one of the drawing aspects of the Inner World, and a lot of the characters were pretty endearing. Robert, the main character of the game, was a bit on the annoying side at the beginning, but his charm ended up leaning on me as I got farther in, and there was a lot of other great characters as well. While I won't spoil too much about the story, you are playing as a character named Robert who looks different from the other citizens of the world. He has a flute nose. Basically, there's holes in his nose and he's able to play music through it. He's told that the world is pretty much evil and everyone will hate him, so he doesn't really leave the area that he's confined to. But one day, he ends up going out and starts to meet new characters and sees that the world isn't quite what he thought it was, eventually revealing an evil plot that's going on, and he is the center of trying to stop it. Inner World is broken up into 5 different chapters, each of which are contained to a small area, though you do end up repeating a few areas a little bit later in the game in some chapters, but all the items you're going to need, all the people you're going to need to interact with, are all located within a small few set of screens per chapter. Your general goal is usually to find objects, combine them, and interact with other things in order to get the story to progress. You'll talk to a character, they tell you they need a certain object or they're blocking something, and you'll need to either go get that object or find something to distract them to get them away from where you need to go. This is very typical of adventure games, and if you love this style of gameplay like I do, you will very much enjoy most of what Inner World has to offer. My biggest issue with the game, though, is the interface itself. I honestly wish they would have had it where you control the character using the left stick and then use some sort of mouse pointer with the right stick to select objects and get certain interactions going. But the way they do it is instead you move the character around and then use L1 and R1 to shuffle between all the interactable spots on whatever screen you're on, and then you select a spot and then select whether you want to look at it, talk to it, use it, depending upon if it's a person or an object, or combine it with another item from your inventory. This doesn't sound so bad, but trust me, it's a bit clunky, and even as I made it farther into the game, I was still making mistakes and pressing the wrong buttons and interacting with the wrong things because of the interface not quite working the way I wish it would, and there's a lot of other great adventure games on PS4 that ended up doing this kind of system a bit better. From the technical side of things, though, the game didn't slow down on me, but it did freeze on me on multiple occasions where I would have to back out completely out of the game. There was also a spot where a character got stuck in a position, didn't move where they were supposed to, or were acting like they were still at a different spot. I was able to kind of manipulate the items and use something. I was able to get the character to move properly, but this was still a minor bug that ended up coming up. The biggest issue, though, for sure, is with the freezing. There was a lot of cutscenes where it would get ready to play an animated cutscene and just completely lock up my system. I'd let it sit there for a few moments to see if it would eventually get going again, but usually I would have to turn off the game and restart it. Thankfully, there's an autosave after pretty much every interaction, so I was able to get right back to where I was. The Inner World is available now on the PlayStation 4 for $14.99. It does feature a full trophy list, including a platinum, and like a lot of adventure games, it's a pretty easy one. If you do want to get it just for trophies, if you follow a guide exactly, you'll have no problem getting that plat in a couple of hours. Overall, The Inner World is still a very fun adventure game if you like this kind of style. I like the artwork, I like the characters, there's some okay music that goes along with the game, and it's not particularly extremely long, taking me roughly about 2.5 to 3 hours to get through it on my initial playthrough while going through all the dialogue choices and the like, and trying to exhaust the different things to interact with. With everything said, though, if it wasn't for the technical issues, it would get a higher score, but as it is now, I'm going to give The Inner World a 6 out of 10. But anyway, guys, it's going to wrap up this review. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.